My name is Mary Stiff. I live in Overly, and I've been here for about 2.5 years now. Well, I'm interested in serving on the board of directors because having come into the community and I talk to people in the community, and people have voiced concerns to me, and some of their concerns have been kind of loud, and some of them have been kind of consistent. And it just seems to me that there are ways that I think that I could help and be a benefit to the board. Well, mainly the ways that I've been involved in the community is by using the amenities. I use the walking trails, I use the pools. I've been to the community centers, been to events at the community center. I know how everything kind of works, just being around and being around people. And I was involved with the effort to get the little free pantry up at the United Methodist Church. So that's, I'm really I love the way that came out. I love that Denise is still pumping away at it, and I love that we still gather there, and everybody brings food, and it's getting to the point where people who need it know that it's there. So that's kind of a really cool thing that I think is, well, really cool. I think that the best indicator of my ability is I have a degree in mass communication, and for 10 years I worked in corporate communications doing public relations and outreach. So it's something that I'm familiar with, and that's one of the reasons why I wanted to join the board. And one of the things that I think I bring to the board is the ability to plan out communication and make sure that people understand the message and understand what they need to know. And I think right now that's needed. I think priority items to be addressed by the board is outreach, making sure that the residents understand what the board does, what the board brings to them, and they understand what the relationship is between the MVF board and the boards of their local neighborhoods. So between Northgate and MVF, who does what and what they can expect. Well, since I believe in reaching people where they are, I know that we have a great little newsletter that goes out, but I don't think that that newsletter by itself is enough. I'd like to see communication from the board on social media. We need much more of a social media presence than we already have. I mean, a lot of people in this village are on social media, and it would be really great if they could just get on Facebook and find out what's going on with the board. So that's one of the things. And a second item that I am interested in is I hear a lot about the architectural standards, and I would like to see the board review architectural standards, see if we can modernize them, and see if we can systematize them in such a way that it's easier to get things approved. And there are things that maybe certain colors of paint don't need approval in this neighborhood or that neighborhood. But I think it would be worth reviewing and worth taking a look at and getting input from the residents in order to do that. Well, since I come from a community affairs background, it would be nice to see communications coming from Montgomery Village that are multilingual. I'm sure that we could find people to volunteer to help translate things that need to be translated. I would like to see outreach, not just in neighborhoods where people are active, but maybe in neighborhoods where people are less active, maybe where people feel like they're not as, valued or important or, a part of what the board is about or what the foundation is about. I support the policy, along with things like making sure the paths are kept clean, because the people who are upset about the wildlife, usually what their complaint is that either there are geese that are messing on the path or that there are geese in the roadway. It would be good if people understood ways that we can work around the wildlife. It's like ways to keep traffic moving even when the geese decide they want to cross the road. And I mean, I obviously support support the wildlife. I support having wildlife here. I love it when we're walking on the paths and you find deer and you find, you know, birds and the herons and, you know, different species. It's always very, you know, exciting. So, so yeah, I guess in a nutshell, yes, I support wildlife. Well, I think the future of Montgomery Village is very exciting. I mean, we've got a lot of development going on at the professional center and at the village center. And with everything going on down at the mall, I would love to see that fostered and helped along. You know, having development there and then having construction end would be really nice. But I mean, even looking at like the village center, you know, attracting restaurants in there because there's no real, you know, there's not no real good places to eat in the village, but there's definitely a shortage of good places to eat in the village. So it would be nice if the board could work towards attracting, you know, some restaurants and some shops in there that are going to serve the people here well. I think that when we're talking about development and we're talking about, um, you know, growth and we're talking about the environment and all of these things, I think what's really critical is that we get more people in the village involved in the decision making. More people in this village need a voice. More people, you know, need to be heard. So I think that's just critically important. Um, and to me, that's like top priority, and it's you know, everything else stems from that. So, and I mean, I also would like to say if anybody has any concerns or anything, you know, it's like I'm always approachable. You can always talk to me, and I've been called an awesome diplomat. Somebody told me that I should go into government just, you know, for diplomacy, and you know, I can bring things forth without causing, you know, a horrible stir, I hope. So so I mean, that's where I am with that.